Hello, folks. So this little forum is all about cognitive offloading and also a little bit about retrieval. So cognitive offloading is what we do because our working memories are really, really limited. So we can only hold information in our working memories for a really, really short period of time. And we can only hold a very small amount of information in that working memory as well. So we need strategies to cope, to help us hold on to it for a bit longer and to ensure we can retain a little bit more. And one of the strategies we use is cognitive offloading. So cognitive offloading in day-to-day life is when we make a shopping list. We use a calculator to keep a running total. We use our fingers. But cognitive offloading means that we have to do some form of external representation. We have to write it out or use something. An external representation normally is writing it. And that means we can retain it for longer and we can remember much more. And cognitive offloading is just a way of chunking information so students can learn more. If you think of when you memorize a phone number, you do it in chunks. 07952 57. You do it in chunks. Generally, we do it in 3 lots. So cognitive offloading really supports students. Some of the ways we can do this is we know that if information is not rehearsed by our learners within about 30 seconds, it's lost, which is why we know that questioning is really, really important. So we might have just told them this, but they need to repeat it back to us. And we say to the room, right, I've just told you what this is. I want you to tell me again what you all to think. And then we question them. We have to get them to rehearse the information. And 3 is the cognitive limit. We know from research that 3 to 4, but 3, really we'd say 3 is the cognitive limit. Generally when we do 4, we can't remember the 4th. So 3 is the cognitive limit. So if you've just done 3 terms or 3 calculations or 3 pieces of legislation or 3 examples, pause. Just pause and let them engage with that information on things like whiteboards. 3 is the cognitive limit and 30 seconds. It has to be rehearsed within 30 seconds. So students will need to be supported with when they offload. So which is why I'm suggesting to you 3. 3 is when they should offload and how. So my obsession with cognitive offloading is whiteboards because they're really easy and effective for them to offload quickly because they're always on the desks. So when and how we have to support them with. And it's worth knowing cognitive offloading is not easy for those who have working memory challenges. So they may know that they struggle to retain the information and keep it. And again, they will also need to be supported with, right, you've done 3, stop. Now jot it down on the back of the whiteboard. Right, we've just done 3, now do this. And you may find they can remember 2 but miss the 3rd, so have to reteach. So often our learners won't have the strategies, so we have to model them for them. So we have to use a range of strategies. And again, as I've said, we have to show them when they offload. So we've done 3, we're going to stop. 3 is the cognitive limit. And I literally say this to the students, and when to use it and how is really, really critical. So the same way, we might say to a student who's struggling with reading comprehension, they need to make notes, but it brings their own challenges if they've never been taught how to do that. So students will say, but I don't know what to write down. I don't know what quote. So it's again important that we physically on the boards show them and annotate and kind of dictate what we're thinking. So I see this quote, this piece of language makes me think this. So we have to scaffold for them what we're picking up on and why. Just telling them to make notes won't be enough if they've never been taught specifically what they're making notes on and why. So secondly, I said I was going to talk to you also about retrieval. So we know the most effective teachers do 8 minutes of retrieval at the start of a lesson. And we've done a lot of work on things like retrieval grids and brain dumping. We do know from research, though, that factual recall is not higher order thinking. we know retrieval is absolutely necessary, but it's not enough for them to be really successful. So what the research is to kind of extending that retrieval that bit further is we have to transfer the knowledge, that retrieval, into the final context. So it's retrieval, a quiz, retrieval grids, and then what? We have to transfer it to the final context. So retrieve and. So for example, with my students, they do 2-3 minutes of retrieval quizzes when they come in. Then they do a retrieval grid. They reteach themselves any gaps. And then we're now doing application to the end product. So you've just retrieved those 3 names, some AO2 and AO3. Now let's do a paragraph applying it. It makes it much harder. It makes it much more challenging. It takes a bit more time, but the research is suggesting they will be much more successful, that we have to retrieve and then apply it to the end product, the assignment criteria, linking that legislation with that case study. We have to extend it that bit further so that we can ensure that they can be really successful. So I hope you found that helpful. Same as always, any questions or thoughts or any discussion points, just let me know and I'll be happy to discuss. Thank you.